you ever felt like you're living a life that someone else decided for you? That every morning, every meal, every dollar you spend comes with a question: what will my children think? What do they need? What are they expecting? At a certain age, it's natural to want to help our children, to be their support system, to keep the family bond strong. But if we're not careful, we can slowly lose ourselves in the process. I've met so many older adults who started out just helping with a few small things, watching the grandkids, cooking meals, offering financial support. But over time, those little favors turned into unspoken obligations. They gave up their personal time, their health, even their retirement savings, only to wake up one day and realize they were no longer living for themselves. Here's the good news: it doesn't have to stay that way. You can still be a loving parent without sacrificing everything. You can preserve family connection without giving up your independence, your dignity, or your own life. In today's video, I'm going to share 6 simple but powerful ways to help you stay in control of your time, your money, and your choices as you age. From setting clear boundaries to protecting your financial security, these strategies will help you live the life you choose while keeping a strong, healthy relationship with your children. Stick with me until the end of this video, because what I'm about to share could completely change how you experience the years ahead. Let's begin. Number 1. Set clear boundaries. Here's the smooth and emotionally resonant English translation of your next segment, delivered with warmth and clarity for an older American audience watching a YouTube video. The tone remains thoughtful and empowering, encouraging healthy boundaries and mutual respect. One of the most common mistakes many older parents make is believing that their role as the giver is meant to last forever. You've raised your children, given them a solid foundation, and made countless sacrifices throughout your life. But that doesn't mean you owe them the rest of your years, your precious final chapters, as if caregiving is a lifelong duty. If you're always in standby mode, ready to cancel your personal plans whenever your children need something, and if you feel guilty every time you say no, then it's time to redraw the boundaries. A healthy relationship must be built on mutual respect, and that includes your children respecting your time, your health, and your personal life. If your children have come to assume that you'll always step in, whether it's babysitting, cleaning up their messes, or fixing their problems, then what started as love and support can quietly shift into something unhealthy, even unintentional exploitation. Setting boundaries doesn't mean you're becoming cold or distant. On the contrary, it's how you preserve closeness without losing yourself in the process. I'm reminded of a recent story from Helen, 74, who lives in Texas. She was caring for her grandchild almost every day, from morning to evening. At first, she loved being close to her family, but over time, she realized something was missing. She wasn't exercising anymore, hadn't read a single book in months, and even skipped doctor's appointments because she didn't want to bother her children. After much thought, she finally sat down for an honest conversation with her daughter. She said, "I love my grandchild deeply, but I also need time to live my own life." The result? Her daughter wasn't angry at all. In fact, she thanked her for being honest. She started looking into part-time childcare services, and for the first time in 5 years, Helen had a free afternoon to attend the painting class she had always dreamed of. Choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. The job of a parent is to raise children who can walk on their own, not to spend a lifetime cleaning up after them. When you set healthy, loving boundaries, you're not pushing family away, you're teaching them how to respect you, while keeping that bond strong and intact. Number 2. Prioritize your own financial security. One common mistake many older adults make is putting their children's financial needs ahead of their own. They dip into their savings, co-sign loans, or hand over large sums of money. Sometimes out of love, other times because of that feeling, if I don't help, who will? But here's a truth that might be hard to hear. Once the money you spent a lifetime saving is gone, no one else will rebuild it for you. Your retirement years should be a time to enjoy the fruits of your hard work. And yet, far too many seniors find themselves stressed about money, simply because they didn't know how to say no when their kids needed help. Helping when you're able to is a beautiful thing. But sacrificing your own financial security just to make your child's life a little easier, that's a risky move for both of you. I remember a story about Gerald, 76, who lives in Michigan. Over 10 years, he helped his son pay off debt 3 separate times. Each time, the son promised to pay him back quickly, but the money never returned, and Gerald slowly drained his entire retirement savings. When he finally wanted to renovate his small home to make the stairs safer, he realized he no longer had the funds to take care of his own health. In the end, he had to sit down and have a hard, honest talk with his son. He said, "I've done my part. Now it's time for you to stand on your own." His son was surprised at first, but over time, he began to figure things out for himself. And surprisingly, their relationship didn't suffer. In fact, it became healthier. You can love your children, but don't let that love become a burden to your own life. Before giving money or signing your name on anything, ask yourself, does this put me at risk? Is my child truly in need, or just relying on me too much? You are the only one who can protect your financial future. And one of the best things you can do for your children is make sure you won't become a burden to them later on. Don't let guilt steal your peace in your golden years. Protect what you've worked so hard to build. If you're still watching and feel this message speaks to you, leave a 2 in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss more practical tips to help you live fully and independently every single day. Now, let's keep going. Number 3. Maintain your own life and interests. One of the most unfortunate things many older adults don't realize is how their lives slowly begin to shrink around their children. It often starts subtly, a canceled coffee date with friends because your child needs help with the grandkids, postponing a long-awaited trip just in case something comes up, or dropping a class you truly enjoyed because it clashed with your child's schedule. Each of these little decisions, over time, quietly wraps your entire life around a single role, the supporter. And at some point, you may suddenly ask yourself, outside of being a parent, who am I? The truth is, you weren't born just to be a stepping stone for others. Before you had children, you had passions, friendships, hobbies that made you excited to wake up each day. And those things still matter. I once met a woman named Martha, 75, who used to work at a library and had a deep love for photography. After her daughter had her first baby, Martha moved closer to help out. What started as a weekly photo walk slowly turned into days of mopping floors, cooking meals, and chasing a toddler around the house. Her camera sat untouched in a cabinet for nearly 3 years. It wasn't until an old friend invited her to go shoot again that Martha truly realized what she'd been missing. "Oh my gosh," she said, "I forgot what it felt like to be someone with my own passion." Now, she dedicates one day each week to photography, exploring local parks, capturing small moments, and sharing her work in a local photo group. Her world became more colorful, literally and figuratively. Taking care of your children is noble, but if you lose your sense of self, if you let go of what brings you joy, you'll eventually feel drained, disconnected from who you really are. A fulfilling life in older age doesn't come from waiting around to be needed. It comes from actively doing the things that light you up inside, whether it's painting, traveling, dancing, reading, or simply chatting with people who make you feel truly alive. Your children have their own lives, and you deserve to have one too. Number 4. Teach self-reliance instead of dependence. One of the greatest gifts you can give your children is the ability to stand strong on their own. But sadly, many parents continue to do the opposite. They step in, fix things, rescue their kids, even when those kids have long been adults. Every time their child faces a challenge, they open their wallets, offer advice, or take over completely. They call it love. But the truth is, the more they do this, the weaker their child becomes, and the more exhausted they feel. You have to ask yourself, are you helping your child grow up, or keeping them stuck in the role of a child? If your son or daughter turns to you every time they need money, comfort, or a quick escape from trouble, and you always come through, then you may be robbing them of the chance to learn how to face life on their own. I once met Walter, a 70-year-old father so devoted he never learned how to say no. For years, he handled everything for his son, from paying off credit card debt to hiring lawyers to clean up personal messes. Then one day, Walter realized he had no savings left, no time for himself, and perhaps most painful of all, no pride in the relationship he had with his son. He made a decision to stop. No more money transfers, no more rushing over after midnight phone calls. At first, his son was furious, but a few months later, something unexpected happened. The son got a job, began paying off his own debts, and even called to thank his father. for finally giving him the chance to start over. Helping doesn't mean carrying someone else's burden. Loving your child doesn't mean sacrificing everything. Your child is an adult now, and true maturity comes only when they've learned to fail, to rise again, and to take responsibility for their own life. If you keep stepping into every crisis, you're not just exhausting yourself, you're delaying the very growth your child needs most. Remember, a good parent isn't the one who always fixes everything. A good parent is wise enough to know when to step back. You're not being cold or unloving when you let your child face the consequences. On the contrary, it might be the most loving thing you ever do. Because in doing so, you give them the chance to become truly strong. If you're still watching and this message resonated with you, leave a 4 in the comments below so I know we're on this journey together. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. There's so much more real, inspiring content coming your way. Number 5. Establish emotional independence. Many older parents don't realize that, often unconsciously, they've tied their happiness to their children. They wait for phone calls, hope for dinner invitations, and feel hurt when their kids get too busy to visit like they used to. Their moods rise and fall depending entirely on how much attention, or lack thereof, they receive from their children. But here's a truth that not everyone is ready to face. Your happiness should never depend on someone else's actions, not even your own child's. The moment your emotional well-being is tied to whether your child calls, visits, or remembers to say thank you, you've handed over the control of your life to someone else. Loving your children is natural, but love should not mean emotional dependence. If you only feel worthy when your child texts you daily, or only feel appreciated when they say thank you, you'll always be stuck in a cycle of waiting and disappointment. Your children are busy. They have careers, families, and countless invisible responsibilities. That doesn't mean they don't love you. It simply means they have lives of their own. And it also means they can't and shouldn't be the sole source of your emotional fulfillment. I once met Charles, 74 years old, who used to feel deeply hurt every time his daughter canceled plans to visit because of work. He told me, every time she texted, "Dad, I'm tied up this week," it felt like I didn't matter anymore. Then one day, while flipping through an old photo of a fishing trip with his childhood friends, he thought, I used to feel so alive without waiting for anyone to tell me I should. Why am I sitting here now, just waiting for a phone call? So he started calling old friends, joined a local senior club, and returned to fishing every Saturday morning. The surprising part? As soon as he stopped waiting on his daughter to make him feel complete, her calls came more often, and their relationship became more relaxed and joyful than ever before. You have the right and the ability to create joy for yourself. When you build a rich emotional life beyond the role of parent, you free yourself from the sting of unmet expectations. Surround yourself with uplifting people, engage in activities that make you feel whole, and always remember, your value doesn't lie in how much attention others give you. It lies in how you treat yourself. True happiness doesn't come from what others give you. It comes from how you choose to live every single day. Number 6. Protect your peace by setting boundaries. One of the most important lessons you can learn later in life is how to say no. It sounds simple, but for many parents, it's one of the hardest things to do. They feel obligated to say yes to every request, babysitting, lending money, rearranging their own plans to fit their children's needs. But the truth is, you are not an endless lifeline. Your time, your health, your emotions, they all deserve the same respect as anyone else's in the family. Setting boundaries doesn't mean you love your children any less. In fact, it's a sign that you recognize your own worth and that you're no longer willing to trade your peace just to keep others happy. If you often feel drained, unappreciated, or taken advantage of, that's not dedication. It's a clear sign that boundaries are needed. I once spoke with Lorraine, 77, who lives in Florida. She was the kind of mother who always said, "Sure, I can do that," every time her son needed something. From school drop-offs for the grandkids to bailing him out when his business ran into trouble. She even canceled a long-awaited reunion with her high school friends because her son called at the last minute, saying he didn't have a babysitter. Over time, her help stopped being a kind gesture and became an expectation. One day she asked herself, am I living my life or just running on someone else's schedule? That moment sparked a shift. She didn't pull away completely, but she started saying no to requests that left her feeling exhausted or conflicted. And the surprising thing? Her son wasn't upset. He actually started to understand. Their relationship became more respectful, more balanced. Boundaries don't push your children away. They protect your peace and teach others to honor it. When you begin to prioritize yourself, not only do you feel stronger and healthier, but you also send a powerful message. Love does not mean unconditional sacrifice. You've spent a lifetime giving and supporting others. Now, you deserve to live on your own terms. That doesn't mean abandoning your family or turning your back on responsibility. It simply means acknowledging that your life is still yours. And you have every right to live it in a way that brings you joy and peace. Remember, a fulfilling later life doesn't come from pleasing everyone. It comes from finding the balance between love and freedom. Love your children, but don't become their permanent caregiver. Help when you can, but not at the cost of your own well-being. You are still a person with needs, dreams, and desires, and you deserve a life that reflects that. Now, as you think back on what's been shared in this video, ask yourself, where do I need to set clearer boundaries? Am I protecting my emotional space? Are the decisions I make truly for my own happiness, or just to keep others satisfied? If this message has made you reflect, leave a comment below. Share one insight you've gained and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your story could help someone else who needs to hear the very same thing. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with your loved ones and friends. Your support helps us continue creating valuable, practical, and inspiring content for the community. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.